Today is the day I finally read Crescent City. So I love Sarah J Maas. I have for years. She's one of my favourite authors, and Throne of Glass and A Court of Thorns and Roses are two of my favourite series. I read them as they were coming out, and she has been just an absolute 5-star author for me every time since then. But when she released Crescent City, I was very apprehensive because I hate urban fantasy, and I don't know if the pull and spectacular writing of Sarah J Maas can outweigh my hatred of urban fantasy. But today is the day that we find out. So I don't know what it is, but I've finally been drawn to tackle these 800 juicy pages of scary urban fantasy. But yeah, I thought it would be fun to do this as a reading vlog with all my thoughts and spoilers included, so if you haven't read it, you should not continue. But yeah, I thought it would be fun because this book has equal potential to be a 5-6 star series and read, and my new, one of my new favourite series, or something that I hate and don't want to read ever again or continue with the series. So I thought that would be a lot of fun, and considering that Throne of Glass and Court of Thorns and Roses are some of my favourite books, I would have loved to kind of have an account of my initial thoughts and going through all that, so I thought this would be a fun way to document it. So yeah, I also have it on my Kindle. I got it from my library on my Kindle as well, so I'll be able to switch back and forth, which is very nice because this is a tome, and this paperweight is not exactly comfortable for reading. But I looked, and I think it said it's going to take me 20 hours to read. So yeah, we're just going to tackle it, and yeah, we'll see how it goes. So I have tried to keep myself pretty much in the dark with this series. I know very little. I know we follow Bryce, who is a red-haired curvy lady, and her love interest is called Hunt, and it's set in Crescent City, and they have phones. That's about it. So yeah, I'm excited to dive into this, and I'll check in with you guys when I have thoughts. Guys, I am like 30 pages into Crescent City and I am loving it so far. Bryce is fun. I don't think I love her as much as I've immediately loved other main characters, but she's definitely interesting. She's got some fire, and her and Danica's relationship is really cute. I really enjoy their friendship. It's a lot of fun to read about and see this. I also love Bryce's job. She works at an art gallery, and that's really cool. I don't know, it's just unique. The magic system is really cool. I like the world. The world building in Sarah J Maas form is super intricate and interesting, but is laid out very clearly, which is lovely. But yeah, I'm loving it. I also really like Bryce is half fae and half human. So she's not like our other main characters in the Sarah J Maas world, where she is, like the most powerful being ever. Like, she's just average Joe. And I really like that. I think it's fun. And I like that Danica, her roommate, best friend, is like this really powerful wolf. She's like the head of her faction, I guess. And or not faction, but like the heir apparent in her faction. And she leads this really powerful team of assassins. And I think it's so fun that we're not... The main character isn't like this all-powerful being, but she's kind of the sidekick character, and I think it's going to be really fun. So no Hunt yet, but I am intrigued to see where that goes. I do think, though, we can see Sarah J Maas is leaning very heavily into the adult rating of this book. There's a lot of swearing, and not that I'm against swearing. I'm partial to a good swear, but it just seems like it's thrown in there a lot, and Bryce just has a bit of a potty mouth because they can. And kind of, I guess, to establish the grittiness of it, but yeah, I don't mind it too much. I think it's part of her character, and I'm really also enjoying the different species. I feel like in Throne of Glass and in A Court of Thorns and Roses, the characters, there's kind of like fae, and then there's maybe some like nymphs and stuff. But this, we've got angels, we've got wolves, we've got vampires, we've got fae, we've got human, we've got everything. Everything's in there. So I love that. I think that's really fun. But yeah, I'm excited to see what's happening. I don't really know what the plot is going to be yet, but I'm looking forward to Bryce and Danica's adventures. So let's continue. Oh my god. Danica's dead. What? What do you mean she's dead? How? What? I can't believe that. I was ready for like the girl boss besties novel about Bryce and Danica like kicking ass. I did not see that coming at all. I'm shocked. Wow, poor Bryce. She's not gonna handle that very well. She's like smashed out of her mind and it's just disgusting. Sorry, I've given like no context if you haven't read this. Bryce was out at a party and or like at a club, and she got like ridiculously smashed, was on all these drugs, came home, found that Danica, who was her roommate, and like her whole wolf pack, which like her squadron I guess, were all like completely eviscerated basically. And yeah, was not expecting that. Jeez Louise. Okay, I'm not sure what this book is going to be about then, but let's find out. Okay. I am now about 50% of the way through Crescent City. I meant to check in earlier, but I have not been able to turn myself away. So safe to say that Miss Sarah J. Maas has only gone and done it and made me love urban fantasy. I should never have doubted her magical powers, but yes, this book has been amazing so far. So I've lots of thoughts, which yes, I've been meaning to share along the way, but I just could not tear myself away to get everything set up and filmed, so I apologise. But it has been such a just enthralling read. So since we last checked in, Danica, who is Bryce's roommate, died, and then she is like questioned, I guess, by Hunt, who we know is the love interest. He is like one of the governor's kind of, I suppose, like his elite squadron. So he's an assassin who's like actually a slave and has this debt to pay off, but then he's also doing this investigative work. I think he's kind of just whatever the governor needs him to do. But yes, so then he interrogates Bryce, and then 2 years later, it flashes forward to 2 years later, and there's more of these murders that are happening in the same way. And so someone was convicted of the original murders of Bryce's roommate, and Bryce is starting to move on, and she's cleaned up her act. She's no longer like a party girl, she doesn't do all these drugs anymore. But yeah, she's changed, and obviously she's still mourning her friend a lot, but she is, not over it, but kind of in a goodish place. But then we find out that there's another murder, and she, kind of unravels her a bit. So Hunt steps in. He is investigating this new murder, obviously because they thought the other murder was, they thought they caught the guy. And Bryce is found that she had interacted with the guy a couple hours before he died, so she gets brought in to help. So then the two of them are solving crimes together. Now, as someone who loves murder mysteries, I did not see this coming. I have been enthralled. 800 pages of fantasy murder mystery, sign me up. I didn't know fantasy murder mystery was a thing, but this has been just so interesting, and it's fun seeing the world, seeing everything unfold. Obviously, Hunt and Bryce obviously start out hating each other, and then they have to live together because Hunt has to protect Bryce and kind of stay near her so she doesn't get harmed, because they're kind of worried that this creature thing that has killed all these people is going to come after her. So that's fun. There's, flirty banter, which is always great. And it's cute because they're kind of, they're seeing things within each other that other people don't see, or that they don't feel comfortable exposing to other people, and they kind of are reflective in each other, which is always fun. We love seeing people healing trauma together, but I don't know if they're at healing trauma levels yet. But they do also really remind me of Aelin and Rowan's relationship. It's kind of this like loud-mouthed, brash woman, and then the like big, strong, fae fighter male guy who has like rank, and he's part of like the government or the soldier or whatever, and he's having to kind of rein her back in and protect her, and she'll say something stupid and then he has to back it up by like fighting their way out. They haven't really had to fight anywhere yet, but oh my god, it's so fun. So I do like that parallel. It's kind of a similar dynamic. And Aelin, Bryce reminds me a lot of Aelin, which I think is fun. But yes, I'm loving it. Hunt is so much fun. I love all of Bryce's like friends and characters. She's got this like nymph I think that's what they're called, like a flame nymph who works with her. And she's like obsessed with Hunt because he's like super famous as this assassin. So she's always like, oh, the angel. But anyway, oh yeah, Hunt's an angel. He's got wings, of course, because Sarah J. Maas loves a winged character. But yes, it's just been so much fun. I am thoroughly enjoying it. The murder mystery itself as well has been really interesting. Like, I'm not sure where it's going to go. We also get to see Bryce's half brother, who is a prince, which is fun. So her dad is this king, but didn't claim her or anything. So she like kind of keeps that secret. But they all say to everyone that she is a distant cousin of the prince. But the prince is at the direction of the king, looking for this magical object that was stolen. Bryce had been looking for that for work and is now looking for it as well. And then they're kind of thinking that that object theft was tied into the murder. So they're kind of working with the brother, and she and her brother had fallen out. And so it's so much fun to see them kind of come back together, mending some wounds. But yeah, I'm loving it. Bryce is so fun and sassy, and Hunt is just like right there to match her. Yeah, I'm loving it. I keep saying I'm loving it. I don't really have any other feedback apparently. I'm not sure who did it. I have my suspicions. I kind of think Sabine, who is the mother of Danica, and she is like the wolf. She's the heir apparent, I guess. And then, but there were real rumours that they were going to skip her and just go to her daughter because her daughter was more powerful. So I'm kind of thinking it could have been her. I did think it was the prince at first, but I don't know that I think it's him anymore. Could also be the dad, though. They're kind of up there. I also kind of feel like it could be the governor. I could see that happening. I could also see it being the governor's, like the head of Hunt's little cadre. Is that how you say it? What's his name? Isaiah. I could see it being him. As you can see, my suspect list is very firm, backed up by a lot of evidence. But yeah, I'm not sure. But regardless, I am thoroughly enjoying it. I'm enjoying the ride I'm being taken on. I'm enjoying seeing the two of them getting closer, seeing the two of them kind of healing things within each other. It's a lot of fun. So yeah, I can't believe how much I've read, to be honest. Although it is taking me ages. I've got it on my Kindle as well, and it said it was like 19 hours or something. And I've been reading this for all of today and most of yesterday, like all of yesterday afternoon, like until midnight. And yeah, I'm like halfway through. So, yeah, today is Sunday, and I'm going to be devastated if I don't finish it today, because I'm not going to be able to focus on work thinking about this book. So I'm going to get a lot of this read today, which is a tall order, but I think I'm up to the task. So I'm going to stop rambling, and I'm going to get back to this book, and I'll check in with you guys again if anything crazy happens. Oh my goodness. They were having such a cute moment, and then like the demon thing came out and has attacked Hunt. Oh my goodness. Swoon moment. Oh, okay, everything's fine. Hunt and Bryce defeated it. Phew. That was a moment there. They're so cute, like fighting together though. So Hunt is injured, and there's like a medical, they call them med witches, which I think is cute, healing him, and obviously he's a fae, so like he's an angel, so he heals really quickly. But I'm kind of wanting him to be injured and for Bryce to have to take care of him. I like that trope in Sarah J. Maas books. I always enjoy that, so I mean, I don't want him to be too injured, but like, you know, a little injured would be fun. Oh, I also forgot to mention before that, like, because Bryce, she's half fae, half human, and she gets kind of like, not, I mean, sometimes slurs thrown at her, or people just look down on her, and Hunt is always defending her, which like Danica used to do too, but it's just cute. It's like, oh, and now he's like really injured and she's standing up for him to his boss and like trying to smooth things over. And she did that before actually too. So it's so cute when they like, you know, defend each other. I mean, she kind of defends him in, well, she defended him before in a way that probably made things a lot worse. But you know, the intentions were good, so it's fine. But it's still fun. They keep having really cute moments, Hunt and Bryce, and then they keep getting interrupted by villains or villains, pretty much. I am in shock. I am about 75% of the way through, and I'm just flabbergasted. So we've just found out, we've had like a massive reveal. I don't know how there's 25% left of this book. I don't know how there's more to go. But we just found out that, oh my goodness, that Danica's murder was actually her own fault. That she had stolen this like art, I don't know if I've talked about the relic very much, but they're like looking for this relic that's a fae relic that everyone's trying to get because it's been broken, but now they think that this new drug, they might be able to find it, fix it I mean. And they, you know, everyone that was dying kind of had started to seem like they had a connection to that, including Danica. And we just found out that Danica killed herself and her entire like gang, because she was on this drug, and it's like a performance enhancing drug, I guess. But yeah, it just like made her go feral and she like took too much. And I have no words. And then Hunt, poor baby Hunt, has gotten wrapped up in it, and he and his friends were gonna like use this to rebel again and get out of their slavery. And Bryce has just caught them in the act, as is the governor, so like they're fucked. Oh my god. And it was going so well. Like they just kind of had a nice little moment together. His like wings got, he defended her for something, and his like angel wings got cut, and she was like caring for him, which obviously that was really shocking as well, but I can't even process that anymore. That's last week's news. But oh my god. I'm in shock. So yeah, Bryce is like, I can't believe this. And then Hunt knew obviously that Danica's murder was her own fault, and he knew that she was like addicted to this drug, but he didn't want to tell Bryce because he didn't want Bryce to be upset. Yeah, I have no words. So like he and his friends have been dragged away. Isaiah, who was the like the head of Hunt's little, I don't know, group, like faction, whatever, I don't even know what you call it, team, was in on it with the governor. I'm pretty sure he's going to get sold back to his previous like slave owner, who was the sister of his ex-lover, who died, and was like the reason that they got caught for this rebellion and stuff. Oh my goodness, just so much happened. It's just mental. Oh, I'm loving this book though. I already know it's gonna be 5-star. It's a 5-star series. It's gonna be a new favorite series. It's been amazing. And I've really been loving the like perspective on grief. And so Bryce has, you know, her best friend died 2 years ago, and she's talking about how everyone around her has kind of moved on, and she is still there. That's everything about Taylor Swift's song. But she, you know, she's still stuck in the same place, and she can't move on without her friend, and she doesn't want to. Like she talks about how she, you know, it's one step every day or one foot in front of the other, but she doesn't want to do that. Every step that she takes her away from her friend. She doesn't want to live without her friend. And yeah, it was really interesting. I really appreciate that in this book, and I think it's such a sign of Sarah J Maas's growth as an author, as well as us getting to see her writing an adult novel, because you're getting this really kind of deeper perspective and this really fleshed out kind of hard topic. And yeah, it's really interesting. As well with that, we're seeing now that Danica wasn't the person that Bryce thought she was, to the same level. I mean, it's kind of made into a bigger deal, but I suppose Bryce, like Danica was doing drugs and was a party girl like Bryce anyway, and Danica just got onto this drug, and you know, Bryce's like, oh, she'd never do that, but I mean, she did. Well, I suppose she stole the relic as well, and then like sold it on the black market for drugs, it seems like. So I mean, for Bryce, it's not in keeping with her character. For me, obviously, it seems like it is, but obviously Bryce would know her better than us, the reader, does. But that's been really interesting as well, kind of to posthumously find out that the person you've been grieving isn't the person you thought they were, even when you really need them to be the person you thought they were, and her really not wanting to confront that and having to anyway. And like Hunt, so sweet, was like trying not to, I mean, he kind of had his own selfish reasons for it as well, but was trying not to let her find out about that. He didn't want her memory of Danica to be tarnished, which I think was really nice of him. And it's been really sweet seeing them both kind of learn to trust each other. I mean, it's so sad now because like I could see it happening when they got together. I was like, I bet you we're getting a third act breakup. Not that they're together, but you know, they had to have some conflict. But yes, obviously they're very, Bryce is very mad at Hunt right now. Hunt's like yearning for her. Always cute moments. I've been like highlighting away on my Kindle and there's so many highlights, but it's interesting to see that they kind of, like, Bryce doesn't trust people, she doesn't want to let people in, and she is so scared of people hurting her to this level, and the fact that Danica died is so hard for her, obviously, and she doesn't want to let someone into her life that could hurt her that badly again. But she does with Hunt. She starts to let that happen, and then like immediately this all unfolds and her heart is broken. And then for Hunt, he had this long lost love that kind of, he was in love with this woman and then she died kind of because of his fault. And I mean, not really, but kind of, he blames himself a lot for it. And so him kind of, sorry, the aircon's just gone on, but his grief with that, and him never thinking he could love someone again, and not that he loves Bryce yet, but you know, he just didn't think he could be like that or connect with someone else again, and the fact that he's been able to, it's so nice to see them healing, and the two of them, and they're both tackling really huge topics, and I think it's been done really, really well, and I've really enjoyed this. I've enjoyed it so much more. Again, I don't know what the flippity flip is going to happen in the last 25% of this book. I'm imagining that Bryce is going to like discover something else and then like break out to try and get Hunt free before he gets transferred over to his old owner again, or like save his life if they're gonna kill him. That's my guess. I'm sure I'd be correct, because there's this big like what do you call it, government meeting coming up, so I'm sure she'll like crash that or something. But yeah, but I'm loving as well, the world building is just chef's kiss, as it always is with Sarah J Maas, but it's much better than I thought it would be for urban fantasy. It's in the future, which I usually hate futuristic stuff, but it's like, I don't know, high fantasy future, and even though they're like in a city, it doesn't feel like it's in a modern Earth city, which I think is what I dislike about urban fantasy. But I've been loving it. I love all the different creatures. I think I said this before, but it's so fun, like all the different species and different cultures of all of them, and yeah. So I'm still going to need to process what just happened, but I'm excited to continue reading, and yeah, I will check in with you guys again later. Alright guys, I have finished Crescent City. It is like 1 in the morning, and this is my third time filming this because I'm having camera issues, so I apologise. My thoughts were already all over the place, but they are just getting more and more frazzled and more condensed. But overall, I absolutely loved this book. I think it far surpassed my expectations. I definitely shouldn't have doubted Sarah J Maas, because this is definitely just a phenomenal book, a new favourite series. It was really nice to dive into a fantasy book again and just be super excited and kind of reading through it. I definitely held off because I was worried about the urban fantasy elements. But also I've heard that there were cliffhangers at the end, and I just was not here for that. But I'm really excited to see this. I'm excited to kind of, you know, get up to date on this series and be ready for when the next one comes out. But I love this. I loved seeing Bryce and Hunt kind of come together and really complete the missing pieces of each other and kind of heal and grow together. I really loved their relationship in that. And especially seeing Bryce, from where she started to where she ended is just light years of difference. So it was lovely seeing her mature as a person, but also going through this grief journey, and I just think the way the grief was handled in this was so beautiful. I think as well it's speaking to me quite accurately, I suppose, in this chapter of my life. So I really appreciate that, and I read it at a good time. But yeah, I've loved this book. The last quarter was crazy since I last checked in. All kinds of stuff was going on. If you read, I mean, it's just, typical kind of end of a fantasy book craziness. Yeah, it was just, yeah, I'm very frazzled, but it was a wonderful book and story. I also enjoyed seeing Hunt getting to be freed, and him and Bryce kind of having this shot at having the life that they both want and deserve. Like, they deserve to have this happy life with each other because they've gone through so much. So yeah, it was lovely, and yeah. I don't have any words. I've forgotten. I had such great thoughts the first take and some great thoughts the second take, but you guys are getting like the worst of the worst here. But yeah, I think I've given a lot of my thoughts throughout, so I don't feel too bad about this being very frazzled, but I need some sleep. Overall, a new favourite for sure. Definitely more of a roller coaster than I was expecting. I cried a little bit, and I'm not really a book crier. It definitely could have been the sleep deprivation, but yeah, seeing Bryce saying goodbye and finally kind of letting go of some of her grief for Danica and her like pack of co-workers, warriors, whatever you want to call them, was really lovely. And then as well, seeing Bryce's like fierce loyalty to her friends, and just like she just will not give up on her friends. She that is all she cares about. So she sacrifices her life multiple times. I mean, she shells out like $100 million, gets this loan from a shady person so that she can buy Hunt's freedom. So just that kind of stuff. It was lovely to see, and yeah, especially, as I said, compared to her in the very beginning, it was just beautiful. I also meant to mention it in 2 earlier clips, and I completely forgot that there's like the Medi Witch that we meet, and what's Bryce's brother is kind of like, I like didn't know her name, and I immediately was like, I bet you that's the woman that like the new queen of the witches who the king was trying to get him to marry, and then it was, and I loved their little moment together, and I really like her as a character, and I think her and the prince were super cute, and I kind of hope that sparks off as a relationship. But she was a lovely character, and I'm glad that she kind of she helped Hunt free him. That was really nice. And then yeah, I really enjoyed that. I enjoyed that we got to see Hunt and Bryce kind of go through his freedom and how exciting that was for him. But yeah, and I also loved that Danica, her name kind of got cleared, that we found out that she was actually, like, she was kind of set up in that position, so that was lovely. So overall, I love this. Yes, as I've said many times. As well, I do think this could have been a kind of standalone. Like, it's a very self-contained story. Other than the very end, the epilogue, which kind of sets you up for the next bit, I think it definitely could have been its own story. So I'm curious to see where the rest of the trilogy goes. I've heard little sprinklings that it kind of mixes into the ACOTAR world, so I think there'll be more portals and, world jumping and stuff, but I definitely think this could have stuck as its own, but I'm happy we get to see the characters some more. Definitely a 5-star. This book does fall under my physical TBR, and she is staying. I was kind of convinced I might be unhauling it, but she is definitely a permanent addition to my shelves. She's getting on her Sarah J Maas shelf, and yeah, I'll definitely be continuing with the series. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I know it's kind of different. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and let me know any of your thoughts on Crescent City. And yeah, I hope to see you guys in another video soon. Bye!